Welcome once again, everyone, to another New Testament is Fake series lesson on the Alok Emma channel, Twitter, YouTube, Patreon at this time. My lesson today is titled, Jesus Does Not Learn. It's May 30, 2023. Now, this is not a regular lesson per se, just a little consideration, some thoughts that came to me. I was just thinking that his so-called father, Yahweh, chose a nation that turned their backs on him. They betrayed him, and in the time of Moses, after they came out of Egypt and they were in the wilderness, he wanted to destroy them, open up the earth and swallowed up some of them. He wanted to get rid of them all and make a nation out of Moses, and Moses hit back against them, saying, "Don't be trying to make no nation of me. Get rid of me as well if you're going to do that to them," because, he just didn't like that. But throughout the scriptures, we do see that the nation he chose, they turned their backs on him many times until captivity came. Usually people who are doing stuff, after you do something, it doesn't quite work out the way you want, you try to do it better. You come up with another plan, after you iron out all the bugs and the kinks and so on. You're a carpenter, you're trying to be when you're making your first little thing, your first little chair. It doesn't turn out quite the way you want. You go over it and you work out how you're going to do it better next time. But we're seeing here that Jesus sat supposedly in heaven, watched all of this with his father, and doesn't quite get any ideas of how to go about this better, of choosing people who go against him. So Jesus eventually chose Judas, who betrays him, and with a kiss. Now Paul himself said to discern and try the spirits, because many spirits are gone into the world, and you figure Jesus would know that. Yet this same Jesus still gave place to Judas, when you're not supposed to give place to the devil, like the New Testament says. But Jesus still went and hired a traitor, when he should have discerned properly, being the Son of God or God himself, according to many. Eden failed. Israel failed. You had even false prophets that the Most High warned about, like in Deuteronomy 13 and Deuteronomy 18 and many other places, and the bad priests and so on, and the kings who went astray. People are supposed to be learning the Torah and trying to live right. Jesus doesn't consider all those things. If you want the right man for the job, like it's late, this is the last chance for Israel to be saved now by sending a Messiah. And Jesus chooses a traitor. Bank robbers and drug dealers, they double check all their plans, they cut the job, they go over all the details, but not Jesus. He let it happen to him, and still no one is saved by his master plan. Because I know you're going to say, oh, but a traitor needed to be there so that he could die for this. Nobody on his team needed to be there, because the Romans were already going to crucify him, if that's really prophecy. Don't tell me that he needed a traitor to point him out, because the Romans already knew Jesus and his ministry from a long time now. They've been watching him. People have been complaining. The Pharisees, Sadducees, they've all known him. They're not going to need no help to get him, because even when they showed up and he got that kiss from Judas, they already knew who he was. And even in addition to that, let's imagine that they didn't quite know how to identify him, because maybe it's nighttime and it's hard to see, they can't tell. They would pick him up by his actions and by his comments. Because when they start talking, saying, who is Jesus, who is Jesus, the way he communicates will just give him away. That's why one time he says, hey, you people, if you don't believe me for the things I say, believe me for my work's sake. So in one way or another, he's going to stand out. And the next thing is, if all else fails, they'll just arrest everybody and sort it out in the morning. They knew him. No betraying person was needed. Jesus just does not learn. His so-called father picked a nation that turned their back on him, betrayed him, walked away and turned their backs and so on. And Jesus comes and he runs a new master plan and does it the same way, with no safeguard, nothing to clearly protect his mission, a divine mission from heaven. You're telling me the New Testament is not fake? You running a camp or running a church, you're setting up some ministry. Anything goes wrong, you are going to straighten it out and get it right for the next time. You're going to cut out that person or whatever, or take that position from them and leave them doing little or nothing until they learn to get things straight and choose somebody else in the meantime. Or like I said, you'll just cut them out. But Jesus does the same thing over and over again. Jesus does not learn. Like they say, to do the same thing repeatedly is a sign of madness. New Testament is fake. Yalak Emmett channel, Twitter, YouTube, Patreon.